Ever wondered if those in the highest office in the land have ever had their fair share of scandals and controversies? Well, you're not alone. It's easy to imagine our leaders as paragons of virtue, their lives devoid of any hint of scandal. But the truth is, the path to the presidency is rarely a straight and narrow one. From the time of the Founding Fathers to the modern era, the office of the presidency has been no stranger to controversy. The power and prestige that come with being the commander-in-chief also bring an extraordinary level of scrutiny. And with that scrutiny comes the revelation of secrets, missteps, and yes, even scandals. Being the President of the United States doesn't exempt one from the trials and tribulations of life. In fact, it often magnifies them. Every decision, every relationship, every action is under the watchful eye of the public, the media, and history itself. It's a job that requires a thick skin, a strong will, and an unflappable spirit, even in the face of controversy. But let's be clear. This isn't about vilifying or demeaning those who have held the office. Rather, it's about understanding that they were and are human beings with their own flaws and failings. It's about recognizing that even those in the highest positions of power are not immune to scandal. So why delve into these stories? Well, they're a part of history. They offer a glimpse into the lives of those who have led the nation, revealing their strengths, their weaknesses, and yes, their scandals. They remind us that our leaders are not infallible, that they too make mistakes. And they show us that controversy, while often uncomfortable, can also lead to growth, change, and progress. So buckle up as we delve into some of the most shocking and scandalous stories of US presidents. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more interesting facts. Whether you're a history buff, a political junkie, or just someone with a keen interest in the stories of those who have shaped our nation, we promise this journey will be an enlightening one. Did you know that even the Founding Fathers had their fair share of controversies? Yes, indeed. These paragons of virtue and bastions of liberty weren't always as squeaky clean as our history textbooks might lead us to believe. Let's take a journey back in time and uncover some of their foibles. First up is Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the primary author of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson's life wasn't just about penning revolutionary documents and designing Monticello. In fact, one of the most enduring controversies of his life involved his alleged relationship with his enslaved woman, Sally Hemings. While it's a topic of intense debate among historians, many believe that Hemings bore several children to Jefferson. This scandal, which came to light after Jefferson's presidency, added a layer of complexity to his legacy and remains a topic of discussion to this day. Next on our list is the seventh President of the United States, Andrew Jackson. Known for his fiery temper and populist politics, Jackson was a man of many contradictions. One of the most significant scandals of his life involved his marriage to Rachel Donaldson. The couple tied the knot in 1791, but there was a slight hitch. Rachel was not legally divorced from her first husband at the time. This led to accusations of bigamy and adultery, which followed Jackson throughout his political career. The scandal was so intense that it even became a central issue in the 1828 presidential campaign. These controversies remind us that our founding fathers were, after all, human. They were subject to the same passions, temptations, and mistakes as the rest of us. Their stories serve as a stark reminder that history is not just about grand achievements and noble ideals, but also about the very human foibles of those who shape it. And you thought the Founding Fathers were just about writing the Constitution and fighting for independence. Well, history, as it turns out, is a lot more interesting than that. Fast forward to the 20th century, the scandals didn't stop. They just got a lot more public. Let's kick things off with the Teapot Dome scandal under President Warren G. Harding. Now, this one's a classic, a real old-school political scandal. It involved bribery, government contracts, and of course, oil. Lots and lots of oil. Harding's Secretary of the Interior, Albert Fall, was caught leasing Navy petroleum reserves at, you guessed it, Teapot Dome, Wyoming, and 2 other locations to private oil companies at low rates without competitive bidding. Now, why would he do that? The answer is as old as time. Cold hard cash. Fall was found guilty of accepting bribes from the oil companies and became the first cabinet member to go to prison. Oh, and Harding? He died in office before the full extent of the scandal came to light. But let's not forget about JFK, the charismatic charmer of the Camelot era. The whispers of alleged affairs and dalliances were many, including a rumored involvement with the iconic Marilyn Monroe. But in those days, the press had a gentleman's agreement to keep mum about the private lives of presidents. The stories remained largely unreported during his presidency, allowing JFK's image as the perfect family man to remain intact. Now, no conversation about presidential scandals would be complete without Richard Nixon and the infamous Watergate scandal. In the summer of 1972, 5 men were arrested for breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate office complex. What followed was an intricate web of lies, cover-ups, and tapes. Oh, those secret tapes. It all led to the only presidential resignation in U.S. history. Nixon might have said, "I am not a crook, but the Watergate scandal forever imprinted a shadow on his presidency." Well, it seems like the 20th century was quite a wild ride for U.S. presidents. Now let's dive into the controversies of the modern era that have caught global attention. Our journey begins with Bill Clinton, the 42nd president, who was no stranger to controversy. His second term was rocked by the infamous Monica Lewinsky scandal. A series of sexual allegations involving a White House intern had the world glued to their television sets. Clinton initially denied the allegations, leading to a perjury charge and an impeachment trial. Although he was acquitted, the scandal left a permanent mark on his presidency. Next, we turn to George W. Bush, the 43rd president, who took center stage not once, but twice. First, the controversial election of 2000. The results hinged on the state of Florida, where a recount was halted by the Supreme Court, a decision that still raises eyebrows today. Then came the Iraq War. The justification for the invasion was Iraq's alleged possession of weapons of mass destruction, a claim that was later found to be based on faulty intelligence. This led to a widespread public outcry and a significant decline in Bush's approval ratings. Finally, we arrive at Donald Trump, the 45th president, who was no stranger to controversy either. His presidency was marked by 2 impeachment trials, a first in American history. The first trial in 2019 was related to allegations of quid pro quo with Ukraine. The second in 2021 was over allegations of incitement of insurrection following the storming of the Capitol. Although he was acquitted in both trials, the impeachment proceedings added a tumultuous chapter to Trump's presidency. From impeachment trials to controversial wars, the modern era has seen a fair share of presidential scandals. The controversies of the modern era serve as a reminder that the presidency is not immune to scandal, raising questions about the standards we hold our leaders to and the role of power in shaping our society. So, what can we learn from all these presidential scandals and controversies? Well, for starters, it's clear that no one is immune from scandal or controversy, not even the highest office in the land. From the Founding Fathers' foibles to the 20th century scandals and modern-day controversies, these stories tell us that presidents, like all of us, are human and fallible. These tales of intrigue and misconduct, of missteps and mistakes, underscore the importance of accountability and transparency in leadership. They serve as reminders that our leaders are not above the law, that they too must face the consequences of their actions. And perhaps most importantly, these stories show us that power is not a shield against scrutiny or criticism. It's a platform that comes with great responsibility and the expectation of high moral and ethical standards. So as we delve into the annals of history, let's remember these lessons. Remember, power doesn't exempt anyone from controversy, not even the President of the United States.